desperate trouble. Del Zayo's gone past him. 150 to go. He's got to the outside. Del Zayo in front. The crowd roaring. Go, Lonro, go. But the 3-year-old's in front. Del Zayo. Lonro, he's coming. He's going to get there. Yes, Lonro won it. What a champion.
Always a great race. 162 years of history and tradition. The Australian Horse of the Year puts her title on the line with Pride of Jenny. Middle-earth, the Import and the Oaks Queen in Zardozi. Just some of the heroes that'll be doing battle in the Australian Cup, which should be a beauty. It's our feature today at Flemington. Lizzie Jules is looking sprightly and ready for a huge day.
Very much sprightly, Richo. It is going to be a fantastic day of racing here at headquarters. The Australian Cup is our feature, but there's a lot on the line, isn't there, when we have a look at the stayers in the Roy Higgins. This is a ticket into the Melbourne Cup, so a lot at stake. But that Australian Cup is absolutely mouth-watering when you think of some of the great horses that have won it in the past. Dulcify, Better Loosen Up, Let's Elope, Octagonal, Northerly, Lonro, Makybe Diva. Some absolute stars.
The who's who of Australian racing, with a lot of Freedmans mentioned there. One of the great race days in Australia, if not the world. Think about it. The Doncaster Mile is the unofficial fifth major for mine. The TJ's the Great Weight for Age Sprint. There's no better derby than the Australian Derby because they're all fully furnished. And then we've got a 2-year-old race. That's only day one.
Yeah, I know. So much to look forward to, Richo. And then, of course, day 2 as well, the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, which is going to be a mouth-watering contest. The Sydney Cup, we've got a really impressive performer, Alicante, who is going to step out. The Oaks and the Queen of the Turf Stakes for the fillies and the mares. A lot to look forward to. $25 million in prize money, 8 Group 1 races. There's no better place to be than Sydney over the next couple of weeks.
The Australian Cup was first run in 1863, making the Flemington Autumn feature just 2 years younger than the Melbourne Cup. Originally for stayers over 3,600 metres, it was shortened to 2,000 metres in the 60s, where it became an autumn target for some of our most decorated middle distance weight for age horses, such as Octagonal, Lonro, and Northerly.
Northerly wins easily by 4 lengths.
Cox Plate hero Bone Crusher Vo Rogue, a dual Australian Cup winner, squared off in an epic 1988 edition of the race, only to see a 125-1 long shot Dandy Andy cause one of the biggest boilovers in history.
It's Dandy Andy racing after Bo Rogue. Bo Rogue stopping Dandy Andy's got him. Dandy Andy. Goodness gracious me, Dandy Andy.
Bart Cummings proved to be a king of this cup as well, winning the race 13 times, including Saintly in 1996.
Nothing like a Dane can't go on people on this line finishing on, but it's Saintly's Australian Cup.
While another Cups icon, Makybe Diva, left her mark on the Australian Cup when in 2005 she broke the race record previously held by Northerly.
Makybe Diva's coming after Winning Bell, 150 metres to go, and the Grand Mare raced up on the outside. Winning Bell fights back, Makybe Diva's ahead in front though, she pulls clear, she's a wonderful mare, what a champion!
You just got to, not get too overawed with it and not panic. Lonro was not the type of horse to get into a argy-bargy, and when Kingy was there, he was on Del Zayo. I thought, I've just got to wait a bit longer, and the run presented, but Lonnie didn't sort of ping into it like I thought he would. Next minute, Del Zayo was off down the outside, and Wayne Hawkeye, and I think Danny Nichols was on the inside of me, and I was in the squeeze box. I was on the canvas, and I'm thinking, as again, you just got to stay composed. You just got to, not get too overawed with it and not panic. And you're only still 250 metres from the winning post and probably 12 seconds to go. And he stole the march on me. It was just a matter of getting Lonnie out into the right run and letting the horse do the work, because I'd stuffed it up in a sense. I guess at the end of the day, we won the race. So I'll stick with that.
Great story there by our team, and well done to Amanda Ross taking on board Cascadian, who is just a gentleman, and no doubt he will excel in his new job, both in the dressage arena and over the jumps as well. So we're counting down to our big Group 1 of the day, the Australian Cup, right there at Flemington, a race that Cascadian won on a number of occasions, Richo, and we've got a crack field assembled this time round.
Oh, we certainly do, Em. We build up towards the Group 1, the 163rd running of the Classic, the Australian Cup. And Zardozi, the Oaks star, ran 4th in the Melbourne Cups up against the Tissue, who simply loves Flemington. She's won here on 4 occasions. Pride of Jenny's the Australian Horse of the Year, and she's back in a big way. And remember that unbelievable Melbourne Cup Carnival when she won 2 Group 1s in a week. Feroce trying to be only the 3rd 3-year-old to do it in the last 30 years. You've got to be a star to be able to do that. And how good is Middle Earth? We just do not know. Hard to believe the development Pride of Jenny has made. She had her first 2 wins at Mornington. In fact, she'd won 2 of 12, and then she ended up being the Australian Horse of the Year once Kieran Maher worked out how to ride and ride her with unbelievable speed and tenacity. Her return was sublime, with her new friend in Craig Newitt back in the saddle, who was with her earlier on. So she's just one of the many stories. And what about the Cummings? So the famous JB, Bart, 13 occasions he was able to win the Australian Cup. His grandson James with 2, and Edward with Jewis as well. Remarkable 16 Australian Cups for the Cummings as Lizzie joins James Cummings. 63rd running of the $2.5 million Australian Cup at Weight for Age, and here is a Group 1 winner. He won the Northerly over in WA in December. He's a good roughie for mine. I loved his run in the All-Star Mile. Maybe the slightest query at 2,000 metres, but I think he will get it. I think he can run a really good race. I think he's in career best form. Here is Attrition. Well, Johnny Allen caused a bit of an upset when 50 Stars won in 2020 for Mitch Friedman. He's come into the yard with a real sense of purpose. He was runner-up in the Blamey Stakes. He's a Hill Stakes winner at Group 2 level. Of course, he's a Toorak winner as well. Young Verta, well, he's going to be around a 70-1 chance on all the fixed prices at the moment. Second up from a spell. Is he going well enough? That's the big query as Lizzie moves alongside a really talented import called Middle Earth.
Well, there's no denying he is a quality individual. We saw him first up into the preparation win impressively. Arguably, some say Duke de Sessions should have beating him on that occasion, but one thing you can't deny is that he's a quality type. He's come on nicely from that first up run, and he looks as though he's going to be right in the finish in a very, very good Australian Cup.
If there's a boil-over, could Shayar create that sort of boil-over? Well, he's terrific at Flemington at 2,000 metres, albeit in lower grade. That's the issue. Weight for Age makes it really tough for him, especially when you're chasing the Australian Horse of the Year, and that's who Lizzie's alongside.
Saw her first up in the PT Young Stakes, and she looked really forward in condition on that occasion. I'll jump out of the way so you can have a good look at how she presents second up. And there's not a massive amount of difference. I think she's come on nicely in her coat. I will say that she's got a bit of more of a spring in her step, which is great to see. She was very relaxed and switched off first up into the prep, and now you can see second up. Coat's improved, a bit more of a spring in her step, but her fitness is pretty much the same.
And then we move to number 7 in a Tissue. She's in her happy place here at Flemington.
Yeah, she absolutely adores racing here at headquarters. She's had 4 wins from 11 goes at the track. Third up to the 2000's got to be a big tick as well. You can imagine that Blake Shin from that gate 7 will just tuck in behind the speed, and whoever carts up the field to Pride of Jenny, whether that be Deny Knowledge or something else, he'll be right there and give her last crack in the straight. Zardozi, you can see there Jamie Mellum chatting to Nassim Dillman. me she jumps up from the 1,800 metres to the 2,000, Richo. And this has been a quote, and we just heard it in the interview yet again with James Cummings all week. It's been process over prize. Fourth up, 18 to the 2,000 metres. She chased well there at Caulfield.
She'll be really hard to beat, Em. Deny knowledge. Craig Williams won the race with Nick Aniro. The Freedmans won it with Homesman in a moment we'll never forget, just after the passing of Michael Gudinski in the ownership. This is the girl that will have the job to chase Pride of Jenny. Could we see a 3-year-old win? Lizzie's alongside Feroce.
This guy was able to collect that first Group 1 victory for Dom Sutton, and I just want to walk alongside Raquel, who is Dom's partner, and just ask, how has he come on since his last run?
Really well.
Do you ride him still?
I do, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, he's towing you around.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Now they are the runners for the Australian Cup. The market mover, Felix.
Dozy, $8.50 at open, now $4.80.
Sam Freedman jumps in, Deny Knowledge. You've probably got the job to take the whole field up to Jenny. Are you up for it?
Yeah, it's a fun race. I think so. She's look, that's our racing style as well. So it's been an exciting build-up. Obviously, Pride of Jenny's, she's done it that many times, and they've met each other a few times before, and she's had the better of us. But hopefully we can try and turn the tables.
And the way the track's playing, no disadvantage being near that rail, is it?
Well, it seems like that, but it's also been, the straight race has been funny because Willow's sort of crossed down to the rail just from the start and taken control. So, hopefully, that is the case because, we should be up there somewhere.
Yeah, so how is she compared to what we saw last start?
I reckon she's the best she's been for us.
Wow, great.
Which she needs to be. This is the biggest challenge she's had. She ran very well in a Caulfield Cup when she did work, and having a chat with Craig, I just tried to instill him with the confidence that, you've got a horse can sustain that run. Mr. Brightside, for all of his amazing traits, maybe he wasn't a strong 2,000-metre horse. So to get on a mare like this, don't be afraid to get going and put a bit of pressure on.
Good luck, buddy.
Cheers.
Sam Freedman, they've won the race with Homesman. Could they get a second one? Lizzie, who is the pick of the yard?
Look, I'm sticking with Zardozi. There's been a bit of market support for her. She seems to me as though she's held her condition really nicely. I must say, though, Middle Earth is probably the one that has kept in my mind the entire time. A Tissue ticks a lot of boxes as well, and Pride of Jenny, as you heard me talking about her, she actually looks, I think, better than she did last time out. She's improved in her coat, her fitness has stayed the same, but she certainly looks as though she's got a bit more of a spring in her step, which certainly bodes well for her after that dominant performance.
Hey, Em, you get a little concerned when you get a late gear change notice, and that is Feroce Equicast on the near front foot. That can't possibly help.
Yeah, that means that there's something wrong with that foot, so they've had to kind of patch it together and make sure that it's fit for racing. So no, that's not a good thing to see. I loved hearing from Sam there because the way he described this race was fun, and I agree with him. It is a fun race because anytime Pride of Jenny is racing, it makes it particularly interesting. I'll be fascinated to see if Deny Knowledge can take it to this superstar mare who's on the comeback trail, but Zardozi, there is something about timing today with this mare. She loves Flemington, the 2,000 metres, and I'm just getting a vibe from James Cummings.
And with Pride of Jenny in the race, Em, to emphasise your point, what it does, it tests the skill of all of the jockeys. Can't eyeball her. You've got to get to her just at the right time if you want to run her down. That's the task for the jockeys in the great race. 163rd running of the Australian Cup.
Australian Cup, Feroce is forward and young Verta completing the line. Field is set, stand by for a start, and they're racing. And Pride of Jenny anticipated the start well. Middle Earth missed it by 2 lengths. Pride of Jenny straight to the lead from the 3-year-old Feroce and attrition wider. They're 2 lengths light infantryman. Young Verta's got to dig up to get to about 4th, and they were followed by Deny Knowledge, Shayar, Zardozi, A Tissue, and at the tail of the field, Middle Earth. 1,600 metres to go. And it's Pride of Jenny looking for her 4th Group 1, leading out by 2 lengths. Out wide working is Young Verta, followed by attrition. Feroce 4th the rails. lengths. Then came Deny Knowledge with Progress, a length Light Infantry Man. Then came Shayar Zardozi, 2.5 lengths away at Tissue. And at the end of the field is Middle Earth and would spot the lead about 12. So it's Pride of Jenny, 1,200 metres to go under her own steam at the moment by a length and a half. To in second, Young Verta. Third is Attrition. And fourth is Deny Knowledge. A length and a half for Roche. Then came Light Infantry Man, 2 1/4 to Shayar Zardozi, 2.5 at Tissue. And Middle Earth is last of all in the Australian Cup. 900 metres to go. Pride of Jenny likes to sool it up from halfway. And today she leads by 2 lengths to Young Verta at the 800 metres and just niggled along now by Newitt to dial it up. Then Attrition. Further back in the field is Deny Knowledge. Then came out deeper on the track Light Infantry Man, starting a move for Roche. Zardozi's 5 off the front, a gap at Tissue. Middle Earth still last with Shayar. So it's Pride of Jenny. She hasn't got away from them. At the 500 metres, Deny Knowledge coming with a looping run. And also Light Infantry Man is queuing up. They've got to Pride of Jenny. She looks beaten. Deny Knowledge, 300 to go. Grabbed by Light Infantry Man, Zardozi. Here's a Tissue down the outside as they reach the 200. It's Light Infantry Man by about a length and a half. 2 in second, a Tissue, Zardozi, Deny Knowledge. Light Infantry Man's out toughing them. 100 metres to go, a length and 3/4, and it's Light Infantry Man. Brutally run race, but Light Infantry Man's the stronger and won it by 2 lengths. Second race over the line, Deny Knowledge. Third in the race was Zardozi. They were followed by a Tissue for Roche, and they were followed by Middle Earth, Young Verta. Back in the field then, Pride of Jenny, and at the tail, Attrition and a very tired Shayar.
The master trainer, Kieran Marn. You've got to call him a master trainer. He wins his first Australian Cup. He had 3 runners in the race, and it's Light Infantry Man. Was he a risk at the 2,000 metres? No, he wasn't. He ran it out brilliantly. Deny Knowledge, not run to suit, yet she still runs second. Zardozi, third, and a Tissue runs fourth. 1, 9, 8 and 7. Kieran and Ethan Brown are both marvels, and what a season they're having.
What a season they're having, especially that young man in the saddle, and especially the combination between the two of them. If you just reference Richo, you could hear a pin drop as he went over the line. I don't think too many people saw the way that that race was going to pan out, Emma. We thought we were going to see Jenny a long way in front. That wasn't the case. It was still a really strongly run race, but it was, as Matt Hill said, the horse that had the miles in his legs, the toughness and the stamina, and Light Infantry Man over the 2,000 metres who got his head down in front.
Geez, that was fascinating, wasn't it, Lizzie? You expected Pride of Jenny to lead by a margin, but it was Young Verta that took the rest of the field up to her and only a length or so behind. So she didn't get that margin. And let's be honest, she was disappointing there. Froggy Newitt has pulled her up quite abruptly in the last couple of furlongs. So expect news out of that. Light Infantry Man definitely suspect at the 2,000 metres, but third up, Kieran Marr Polish and Ethan Brown, who now wins his 8th Group 1. These colours as well, they've got a winning run going on at the moment after winning the George Ryder with Gringotts last weekend. The winning trainer is joined with Richo.
Kieran, come and join me, mate. Congratulations, you win your first Australian Cup. Was he a query at 2,000? Hell no, he was fantastic. Congrats.
No, I was pretty confident actually. I knew he'd enjoy that good tempo because his races in Europe, and he's just in career best form. Team had done a great job with him. Brownie rode him beautifully. I told him if he rides, when he ran first up, I said if he rides Flemington like he rode him at Caulfield, he's a strong horse and can sustain it. So, so wrapped for the ownership group, John and Ozzy, Joe, Will Bourne, he just keeps finding these horses. So, big thanks to him and just to the team. He just keeps improving. He sort of put the writing on the wall in Perth, and fantastic. Won quite well.
He has been incredible, hasn't he? He was travelling here from Europe and back to Australia, back over to Europe. Johnny and Ozzy have kept the faith, and he's delivered for you, mate.
Johnny's got the flash shoes on today, so he'll be dancing tonight.
They are incredible. One of my favourite people in racing, Johnny O'Neill. Check out those shoes. J.O., yet another Group 1, mate. Congrats.
Mate, just what a ride. I mean, Ethan Brown's done so much work with him since he's come back. Kieran and the team have done a wonderful job. I know that you just mentioned to Kieran, he'd been to Europe and he'd come back, and he'd been to Europe and he'd come back. I just love their process at Kieran's. They take their time with the horses, place them in the right areas and get the team going. And I just think I'm so happy for Brownie. You know, he's such a great rider and he's done a great job on Jimmy Star for us and now he's won the Australia Cup. It's just incredible.
And those shoes, mate, are bloody special.
I borrowed them.
Well played. You chose them. They are outstanding. Size 10 for me, please.
No problem. See you.
Ethan, you've just won the Australian Cup in what was a brutal tempo.
Yeah, it was. Sedate early, but as Jenny does, she picks him up from a long way out, and he was always going to relish it, this bloke. 2,000 metres was never a worry for him. But look, all the cards fell our way today, and I'll tell you what, it's a long straight, that Flemington straight, but look, he really appreciates being ridden like that, and super rapt to get the job done today.
You're riding for a team that you're well associated with. You're well associated with this horse. Obviously, Aussie Kids, colours on board. What a great result for everyone involved to get this win today.
Oh, look, it's unreal. It means a lot to me, and I do go on about it a lot, but I just continue to getting good support from Kieran and this ownership group. They really batted for me the last 6 to 12 months, and you know, they've put me on their good horses, and it's just so rewarding to deliver them results.
What's planned for tonight?
Don't know yet. We'll worry about that later. I think me and Celine are staying in town, so we might go for a nice dinner.
That's very well deserved. Well done, Ethan. It's great seeing you have so much success.
Thanks, Charlotte. Appreciate it.
You deserve it, Ethan Brown, a jockey that is riding with supreme confidence at the moment and partnering up with a team that is just placing their horses in the absolute right races and the right spots as well. That played out to perfection. I suppose when you look back upon reflection about how it was run, we didn't see Pride of Jenny up on speed and stretching away at the point that we thought she would. Even though it was brutally run, they kept her in. Everyone kept her in at their sights, and that's what created her to probably just puncture a little bit in the concluding stages.
Just wanted to see what the time they ran, Lizzie, but Pride of Jenny will no doubt follow up that story as quick as possible to find out the fallout of Pride of Jenny. But Em, let's consider this. We know that Chris Waller's been incredible. He's got 15 wins for the season. Kieran's got 9 Group 1s behind his 15, and Ethan Brown has 5. He's with Damien Lane, he's with Craig Williams. We know James McDonald's off and away with 11, but an incredible season from both of them.
And Ethan Brown's only won 8 in his career, so he's had 5 for the... It's just amazing what he's doing, particularly with Kieran at the moment. And you just saw Johnny O'Neill give him a big cuddle there. He's a big supporter of Ethan. And I tell you what, comes up to Sydney for the championships with a couple of nice rides. I'm sure he will be feeling confident and up and about, hopefully trying to get another big win on his CV. But Light Infantry Man, or Richo, the horse...
Super day of racing at Flemington. Fashions have been on the field as well today, and as soon as it gets a little chilly, it allows you to add a layer or two, and I've found colour blocking's been very strong throughout the day today, and there's been some wonderful colours, and look, a little Scottish flavour got involved.
Well, a bit of texture as well, so a bit of felt, which you're sporting today as well, and so am I, and so is Emma Friedman as well, so we're just going a bit autumnal.
I love the sound of that. Now, the Australian Cup, that was just run and won, and it was run and won in 2 minutes flat, 0.41. And Light Infantry Man was superb. So here we are, we pick up the vision. Now, straight away Pride of Jenny, because Craig knew it drew that inside barrier. He knew he had to dig her out, and she's got straight away to the lead. Now, the first surprise here is suddenly young Verta comes across and goes, she's not going that fast, I'm going to sit pretty close to her. We were surprised then.
We expected to see Deny Knowledge actually cross and be able to put a bit of pressure on Pride of Jenny, but the stayer, young Werter, it is his natural racing pattern to be up on speed, but we didn't think he'd have that sort of tempo to lay up to her. When you were watching the sections of this race, they were running around 11.2, 11.3, I think 11.5 and 11.8 was one of the ones that I picked up later on, and we thought, what point in this race is she going to stretch away from them? The eventual winner, you can see, is
beautiful ride.
Having a perfect run in transit. For O'Shea is on the fence as well.
So he's third pair back on the outside.
And that's him on the outside, and he's just having a comfortable run. At this point in time, we thought, okay, Jenny's going to start stretching away, but that didn't actually eventuate.
It didn't. So right here, you're looking at young Verta trying to accelerate up, attrition on the rail, and Deny Knowledge has not got in her number one spot, and suddenly Light Infantryman comes around her. Feroce's camped in behind. So right now, Light Infantryman has Zardozi on his back and a Tissue on her back. And those three are about to run in the race. Deny Knowledge gives a really good kick. Was there a query at 2,000 metres on Light Infantryman? There was from many, but he showed right here he was 2,000 metres and then some.
Yeah, exactly right. And Ethan Brown said after the race he never had a query over the 2,000 metres. Probably the run of the race has to go to a Tissue as well. And even Deny Knowledge, Emma, who stuck on really well. Zardozi pass mark, but Deny Knowledge kicking back, not in her natural pattern, was an excellent effort.
Yeah, absolutely, and maybe that was the intentions from Craig Williams after he noted that, what was happening with Pride of Jenny, just to sit back and let it all unfold in front of him. And then you're so right about where Ethan Brown got in that position with Light Infantryman, just three back with cover, was able to peel out at the right time. But having that sprint in his legs, I guess, having won a Group 1 over the 1,600 metres in the past.
She knows him, she's had 2 rides on him. So there's he, fingers.
It challenges the job
a little bit.
That tempo, but he gets a second Group 1 next to his name, and I'm just looking forward to hearing the fallout as to what happened with Pride of Jenny, because I think all our hearts break that something has gone wrong with her, and hopefully we do get to see her again on the racetrack. If not, I'm sure she'll be retired, but second up into a preparation, you just don't want to see that.
That's right. Well, here is Craig Newitt with his thoughts on Pride of Jenny.
Yeah, a bit of a head scratcher. She flew the gates. I was happy the first sort of couple of furlongs, travelled well. Got to the 1,200 and I knew they were still there, so I went to just let her slide a little bit, but she was well and truly beaten at the 1,000, which is very unlike her.
And she was beaten 15.7 lengths, the Australian Horse of the Year. That is not the Pride of Jenny that we expect. So calculating at all the great performances we've seen today, trying to put them into some sort of order from a 7 Racing Votes point of view.
You've had that.
And I've been given the task of it. And Ethan Brown, because with Pride of Jenny, it challenges the jockeys to get it right. And he nailed it. He had that horse in the right spot. He gets the 3 votes. Kieran Maher's got a double today, so has Ethan Brown. But Kieran's training performance to get Light Infantryman to win that Group 1 again is fantastic. He's got a double today. And it's hard to go away from what the Hazers were able to do with Joyful Fortune. I mean, they only had a couple of runs back since a 3-year hiatus. That's a fair training effort.
Yeah, you've done a good job there to be able to calculate all of those. But Ethan Brown, he is in the season of a lifetime at the moment with another Group 1 next to his name. Gai Waterhouse on track at Flemington today.
So much up for grabs coming up here. The Lexus Roy Higgins, it's a listed race over 2,600 metres, but it's more than that. It's a golden ticket into the Melbourne Cup. And it's also an opportunity for us to stop and reflect on not only a champion in the saddle in Roy Higgins, but I don't know if you had an opportunity late in his life to spend any time with him, but such a gentleman was Roy Higgins.
Oh, I sure did, Richo. The professor, as they called him, and of course, multiple Group 1s next to his name, but also a great syndicator later in life and a good media performer as well, but always generous with his time, particularly to young hoops on the rise, and that's why he was known as the professor. So we take a look at the winners today from Flemington. Jamie Mellum kicked it off on A Little Deep. Ben Allen had a winner on that 2-year-old on Prestige Olay. Ben Mellum on Recuperato, which was a great 2-year-old winner as well. But Ethan Brown gets riding honours.
Joyful Fortune into a Light Infantryman, and he's on board the Group 1 winner in Smokin' Romans as well, coming up in the Lexus Roy Higgins. And well done to Kieran Maher. He has been outstanding yet again today, and he'll have a live hand, no doubt, on Tuesday. Isn't it great to see Vow and Declare here leading the Roy Higgins field out, where you win your way into the Melbourne Cup.